All right, so here we are. It is page 1 to done. I want to talk about books. I want to talk about writing, and I want to talk about the whole publishing process. But really, this is a chance to get your questions answered. This is a chance to get all of your publishing concerns out in the open. So this is that opportunity. So if you have questions, I would be more than glad to take them. We should be able to get some questions and answers going. So if you have questions, we can do that too. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, the Facebook page is, if you Google "want to be an author," we take a lot of questions in there as well. So it would be a great chance not only for you to get your questions answered, but also for you to find support. Various, a variety of writing topics, publishing topics, most specifically self-publishing. But we also talk about how we build a business based on a book. So that's really what we talk about. There's a lot of people that have like-minded thoughts and that sort of thing. So we are thrilled to have you if you'd like to join. That's wannabeanauthor.com. We're just going to start taking some questions. Like I said, this is really just a live question and answer series that's my doggy. It's a live question and answer series just for people who have questions about what's going on. So I'm going to start looking online. Like I said, we've also got some people who have who sent in questions ahead of time, which is really, really cool. And we will just start taking as we go. So the first question comes from Tanya, and she wanted to know, how do you determine pricing your book? How do you determine pricing your book? For most genres, that's my dog, he's not going to stop. That's Max. For most genres, 200 pages, I guess, is about the norm. So depending on what strategy you're going with, Kindle has a whole pricing strategy specifically that I've tweaked for my clients and for my Kindle launches that centers specifically around pricing. So, and that price can go anywhere from 99 cents to $7.99. I think the Kindle tends to price a little bit lower than hardcover books. And it's just a really good strategy to get your hand in that, well, your book in front of a lot of readers. And it also is a good way, especially if you're looking at building a speaking, a coaching, any kind of a business around the book, that you price it low. So obviously you get, to a lot of people. And for hardcover though, I think that I tend to, especially if I'm going to be taking the book with me and I'm going to be somewhere and I'm going to be signing it, I tend to price it a little bit higher because I think people really do value having a book in hand. And I think people really do value so I think that they tend to they'll tend to pay a little bit more for it. So yeah, so that's really exciting. So congratulations to you on your book, and I look forward to hearing more about it. Tanya, the next question is, if you've already released a book without having it professionally edited, would you suggest re-releasing it? If that's actually a word, after having your book edited professionally. My response is yes. I would have it edited, and I would do it as soon as possible. And I say that because even though, obviously the content of your book is really important and the message behind your book is really important, often, sometimes we have to go through the quote unquote messenger to get to the message. And so if our messenger isn't looking top notch, if it's not cleaned up, if it's not edited, then a lot of times people won't recommend your book. They won't purchase another book, and they may leave you some bad reviews, not based on the message, but based on the way the book is edited. So I would suggest that you do it as soon as possible. And then I would do a relaunch. I think building up the momentum, knowing that you already have a completed project, puts you one step ahead of the game. Now I would just work on re-editing it, and then re-releasing it, and then getting the great reviews from it that way. Eric, how much money is needed to write a book on a shoestring budget? Well, I think that any budget, can work for a book. So I think that you can look at a variety of things that that you can fit into your budget. I mean, I think that there are some things that you should absolutely not cut corners on. And I think that editing is probably, I think that you should, plan to spend some money on editing and making sure that you get it edited professionally, as we just talked about. But there are certain things now that you can, find, a lot less a lot less pricey than it used to be. So like book covers, the formatting of the book, all of that kind of stuff. So I think that that's really good news. But like I said, if you want this to build your business, I mean, this is your baby, this is your product. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of it and that you're giving it the respect that it deserves. So I think that that's really cool. And so I congratulate you on taking the next step, and I wish you the best with that. The next question: how soon should you start building a platform and promoting for your book? Building a platform, this is what I do. So not only am I a best-selling author, but my company, Nikki Woods Media, we specialize in helping authors and writers begin to build that platform and promoting. So I think you should always be working on your platform. If you're at ground zero, then you should start now. You should start today. If you're still, if you started but you're not really into it, I would really consider growing and building. This is your engaged, this is your tribe, so that when your book is done, this is the audiences that you're going to be selling to. So I think that it's really, really important that you spend the time to grow and to develop. And so I have a book marketing timeline that really stretches from 6 to 12 months before your expected release date. Now obviously that can be tailored based on where you are with your book, but it's something really to consider. All right, so Stacy has a question based on that that answer. It's also a platform question, and she says, should we platform build on our personal page or start a page for the book? I say that it's a little of both. I think that you should absolutely use whatever brand you've worked hard to establish. So for me, Nikki Woods is the brand. So everything that I do is based on the Nikki Woods brand. I think that it's always easiest, and I always kind of brand themselves, well, not kind of, but brand themselves based on their name, because whatever you do is going to stem from you. So it could be radio for me, it could be writing for me, it could be social media workshops for me, but whatever it is, it could be women's empowerment, whatever it is, it stems from Nikki Woods. So no matter what you're looking for, if it has to do with me, you can find it based on my name. But if I were to build a brand for every single book I write, or build a brand for every single client, a service that I offered for clients, or I built it based on my company, you might not necessarily be able to find me wherever I am. So that's just something that I suggest that you keep in mind when you look to do some when you look to build your brand and build your platform, that you do it based on a really solid foundation, which is your name. I don't know, Tamamu. Tamamu says she's online and she doesn't. Okay. Okay. And so Alvin asks, once you have identified the main idea and the sub-ideas, which should become your chapters? How many paragraphs should it take to complete a chapter? There's a message that you want to get out, but you don't want it to be too wordy and lose the interest of the reader. Okay. So is there a minimum number of paragraphs required to write this out? It really does depend. The beautiful thing about your book is that it's yours. You can kind of train your readers to read long copy if the content and the story is that good. Write a chapter, let somebody read it, get some replies, that sort of thing. But it's your book. So maybe think of 3 different types of people: a reader, an author, a non-reader, to get a good range of perspective about your book. But it really is yours. I said about 200 pages, 60 to 70,000 words is kind of what's an average. You might want to do a shorter ebook, and that could be 30,000 to 40,000 words. But just remember that this is your book, and you can kind of tailor it the way that you want to. Now, in the Page One to Done author program that I've set up, you can learn more about that. It's page1todone.com, and it's all spelled out, page one, O-N-E. And pan.com, and it's a 9-month program, and it's a comprehensive program just because there's so many people out there with so many questions that really want to do it right the first time. Just like Star, the next question, Star says, my time is limited, my funds are limited, and sometimes I simply cannot gather my thoughts, so I abandon my project. And the great thing about the Page One to Done author program is that there is built-in accountability. There is really a set standard with training, live Q&A calls, action steps, a private Facebook group, flexible learning style, and then access to not only me, but to my expert friends. So you definitely, you know, if you need some help, if you need a little bit more one-on-one guidance, this really was to answer those last-minute questions and to let you know that the pro there for you. We're going to start the first session in the next couple of days. But whenever you join, because it's so flexible, you'll be able to pick up and really get it done. So that's page1todone.com. And there are almost $2,000 worth of bonuses with this program. There's 9 modules, 9 months, almost $2,000 worth of bonuses to help you not only with branding, but your author platform. You get an individual assessment. There's a lot of writer training, training for writers. And then there's also a free ticket to a writing workshop that I'm going to hold in Dallas. So I think that it's absolutely worth your time if you're interested in publishing, writing your bestseller book, launching your business, becoming a coach, a speaker, all of that, to log on to page1todone.com. I want to thank you. I appreciate you hanging out with me with all the questions, and I hope that it has been of good service, and I look forward to talking to you soon.